Most campers come with low capacity 12-volt batteries that last maybe a couple nights tops. When I first bought my camper, I realized that I was basically trapped to stay at campsites that have hookups, unless I were to upgrade my electrical system and make something that could last a little bit longer or a lot of it longer. First thing that I did when I got my camper was I immediately built an off-grid power system for my camper. That way I was not limited anymore in the places that I could stay. I put new batteries in it, an inverter, and solar panels, and it completely changed the way that I camped. Once I got the electrical system set up, I could camp anywhere, I could stay for weeks at a time and run actual electronics like Starlink or a TV, no matter where I am, no matter what kind of hookups I have. I wasn't limited on the power that I could use. If it wasn't for my off-grid electrical setup, I don't know if I'd be camping nearly as much as I wanted to. It is the best upgrade I've done to my camper, and I could not recommend it more to anybody else who's into camping. So what is it that you actually need to be able to use your camper off-grid? What do you need to install? The basic components of an off-grid electrical system, without getting into too details, are batteries or a battery bank, an inverter, solar panels, and a charge controller. Batteries store the electricity, the inverter turns the electricity into usable electricity, solar panels recharge your batteries with the sun, and a charge controller converts the solar panel power into something usable for the batteries. When I first got my camper, it had one lead acid 12-volt battery like it's in your car. It's not a very high amp hour. It's not really meant to run things for a long period of time. It's basically meant to power 12-volt lights for a little bit when you're not at hookups and kind of keep your camper alive when you're traveling between campsites, but it's not really meant to be camped on. It maybe lasts a day or two. Especially if you're using a lot of the water pump, it'll kill that battery pretty fast. You are very limited. You can only camp at places with hookups, or you need to run your truck to be able to charge your battery, and you're always thinking about losing power. Without an off-grid power system, your camper is basically just a place to sleep unless you're hooked up to power, which is still better than a tent, but you can't really use many of the accessories for a very long period of time. The biggest benefit of getting an off-grid system is now I can literally camp anywhere that my camper will fit. I can camp in the middle of the woods, I can camp at a rest area, I can camp in a Walmart parking lot. I don't need a plug, I don't need anything. And when I'm camping, I can use my Starlink, I can watch TV and have plenty of power. The only thing I can't do is run my air conditioner. That's because I don't have a very high powered battery bank and I don't have enough solar for that. But if you wanted to build a very good system, you could still run your air conditioner. The perks to camping anywhere are literally endless. You can boondock anywhere you go. There's a lot more free campsites that don't have hookups. You can stay on the Bureau of Land Management, forest roads, a lot of dispersed camping. Many state parks, or at least my favorite state parks, don't have hookup. You can get to remote locations now that you don't rely on being plugged in. The best views are almost always off-grid, and my type of camping is to get as far away from people as possible, and that means ditching the average campground with hookup. An off-grid setup in my camper has allowed me to enjoy that. Pretty much all of my favorite state parks that I stay at on a regular basis don't offer hookups. So if I didn't have an off-grid system, staying there would not even be an option. It just really opens up the possibilities of places for you to stay. Once you have a power system that you know can last a while, you're not limited in the places that you can stay. Some real examples of how I actually use my system is lights. You need to be able to see at night, so you need lights. That doesn't use very much power, so a normal 12-volt battery probably would have been fine for that. But a lot of times, if I'm staying in the middle of nowhere, we'll have Starlink running to run Wi-Fi, and then a TV, which that's going to use a couple hundred watts, not too much, but again, if you had just a normal lead acid battery, you'd go through it pretty quickly. You need a water pump to go to the bathroom, take a shower, do dishes, things like that, and that can use a decent amount of watts as well, and charging all of your devices. You can charge your cell phone. My wife works from home a lot, so she can charge her laptop even if we're not plugged in. We have enough power to be able to do all of those things. Without a well-built off-grid system, you wouldn't be able to do much of that. You could charge things for a little while, but you're gonna worry about draining your battery, and especially if you use those things often, you're gonna run out of battery pretty quickly. With my setup, if I have good sun, I can run Starlink and watch TV for weeks without having to worry about my power. If I have good sun, I don't even turn off the inverter at night. I let it run overnight, and I'll be fully charged by the time I wake up in the morning. So what does it take to actually put an off-grid system into your camper? It's gonna cost you some money. You're gonna have to pay for some batteries, you have to pay for an inverter, you're gonna pay for some other things. If you do it yourself, you can probably get a system for around $1,200, which is about what I spent on my system. I have 200 amp hour batteries, I have a 2000 watt inverter, and I have 400 watts of solar. So it's a pretty lower end system, not super high power. It's also going to take you some time. If you know what you're doing, it might take you a day or two of work. It took me about 2 days of working on it. It was cool to learn something like that. It was definitely interesting to build the system and see it in action. About $1,200 in 2 days of work is what you need to install the system if you know how to do it yourself. I don't know how much it really costs to pay somebody else. I'm assuming it's probably around $4,000 to $5,000 for the equivalent system. You had to pay somebody to install it. But I've definitely already gotten my money's worth out of my system because pretty much all the places I camp, I have no hookups. It's definitely been a worthy return on investment because of all the possibilities it opened up for places for me to camp. Even though it costs you money to actually install the system, it might actually end up saving you money in the long run because of the places that you are now able to camp at. One of the campgrounds near me is they charge $35 a day for a campsite with hookups. They also charge $22 a day for a campsite without hookup. And that's not a ton of money, but $13 a day that you save getting the no hookup sites. But the best thing about the no hookup sites is they are right on the water, and you wouldn't be able to stay at those if you required hookup. It just opens up the possibility for you to stay at cheap discounted campsites or even free campsites, because you're not going to find many free campsites that have hookup. Having an off-grid system, being able to camp anywhere, super important to be able to find low budget campsites and free campsites. There's also private campsites on an app called HipCamp. It's kind of like Airbnb for camping. I used it one time and it was pretty cool. I had to pay a good amount of money for the campsite, but it's a really nice campsite, so I'd probably do it again. It had no hookups, so if I relied on hookups, I would never have been able to camp there. Now, why would you do this when you could do other upgrades to your camper? You could buy a nicer mattress, you could buy an awning, you could buy outdoor kitchen, you could buy some sweet decorations. All those things are nice. Upgrading a mattress for a good night's sleep is all well and good, but that doesn't open up your possibilities of more places to camp. Once you have an off-grid system, you've completely expanded all of your options for camping. You're not limited to the busy campgrounds with hookups. You can go pretty much anywhere. Those are all nice upgrades, but it doesn't expand your ability to camp in new places like this does. Most camper upgrades just make your camping experience nicer. An off-grid system makes your camping more capable and expands your options. All right, what kind of people should install an off-grid setup on their camper? If you're watching this video, probably you. I don't know anything about you, but I bet you'd enjoy it if you made it this far into the video. This is best for people who go truck camping, who want to boondock, who camp in national or state parks without hookups, who travel for a long period of time and might need places to stay in between campsites without hookup, people who want to be able to use all their electronics on the road, things like Starlink if you're working from home or working from the road. Having an off-grid setup capable of running your internet and keeping your devices charged is super important. For the people who like camping away from the average people, I definitely recommend this to you. If you're someone who has a seasonal campsite and you're plugged in all the time, it doesn't make sense for you to do this, but if you want to try expanding your options, try new campsites, then I can recommend this to you for sure. My simple budget system is two 100 amp hour lifetime batteries, a Renogy 2000 watt inverter, 400 watts of solar from Renogy's solar panels, a Renogy charge controller, and that's basically it. I'm going to put a spreadsheet in the description of some links to the actual stuff that I use to build my system, but again, that's not the whole point of this video, to explain how to build a system. But if you're looking for information on what I used in mine, it'll be in the description. This is a pretty entry-level system, nothing too crazy. It works for me, and it was pretty budget and cost effective, which is why I strongly recommend it to anyone who's looking into something like this. For $1,200 and a couple days work, I completely changed and expanded my options of camping. I can stay anywhere I want, I can camp for longer, and I never have to worry about power again, all because I installed a off-grid electrical system in my camper. If you have a camper and you're thinking about upgrades and thinking about expanding your horizons of places you can camp, I honestly think an off-grid system is the best thing that you could do to your camper, and it should be one of the first things you can do because you don't want to be limited in your camping experience. Once you have this, you can literally camp anywhere. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, got some useful information out of it. If you're interested in building an off-grid system, reach out, tell me what you're trying to build. If you put an off-grid system, what is your favorite thing about it, and what's your favorite thing that you can do now that you couldn't do before? Again, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next one. Have a wonderful day.